What's up, YouTube? We're back. It's Skid Marks here with another unboxing. This time we got Darth Vader, the deluxe set from Return of the Jedi. I've had this one for a little while and been waiting to unbox it. It's a huge box, as you can tell, but excited to get into this one. We do live stream these over on Twitch, so if you're ever interested, come check us out at twitch.tv/skidmarks. But do like and subscribe here as well. It's free, and we enjoy you coming back and seeing some of the content. So I appreciate it, and let's jump right into it. I'm excited for this one. It doesn't. It has a lot of accessories, but it like not at the same time. It's not like Deadpool. When we opened Deadpool, there were so many accessories with that one, but this one's a little bit different. It has really cool accessories though. It is a deluxe set figure, so it was a little bit pricey. We'll talk about the price and everything at the end after we get them out and we kind of do the rundown. Yeah, you guys should be seeing something. Oh my gosh, thing's heavy. Oh! What we got? Oh yeah, we just got him standing there. A little bit statuesque type pose. Well, they really didn't do a ton of box art on this one, at least not on the outer sleeve. I don't know if there's an inner sleeve, but let's get the plastic off here so that we can see the box a little bit better. I think there is going to be an inner and outer sleeve. Got a little bit of box damage. I'm really surprised. I had box damage on the last one too. I used to never have box damage. This one's not as bad as the Deadpool box, but still, you would prefer to have none, if you know what I mean. So there we go. We got him standing, just statuesque. Like I said, not too much here on the outer sleeves. Let's go ahead and slide that off. And just give you a final look, and then I'm going to put him down here. When I was talking about box damage, there's a little bit of a crease right there on the side of the box where the two come together. But that's super minor compared to the Deadpool box was like actually split a little bit. Okay, so what we got here? Oh yeah, we're starting to get a little bit more, and then we got the see-through, so the 40th anniversary. So that's why they're doing the Return of the Jedi figures. So they've got the 40th anniversary of the movie figures are coming out, and so I'm hoping that they're gonna redo a lot of the figures. I really want them to do a. I really want them to do a emperor with his throne, but they haven't done that. So I don't know. I really wish that they would. I'm assuming that they're going to do a Luke at some point too. So really hope that they start releasing those figures because I'd like to have all three of those and recreate the throne room scene. So you have Palpatine sitting up there, and then you'll have Vader fighting Luke, or maybe the heroic scene where he's getting electrocuted. So I really hope that they end up re-releasing those figures. All right, let's jump right in here. So we got a little bit of tape here on the back. We can see what we got here as far as, so we do have him without the mask. So we are going to, as you can kind of tell there, get a head sculpt without the mask. So that's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see that. Trying to make sure you guys aren't getting too much glare here. We got to get a new light. I need one that goes like more up above me, but we're struggling small YouTube channel. We don't upload a whole lot, but when we do, we try to make a good content. So let's see what the side of the box here says. Darth Vader. Once the heroic Jedi Knight named Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader was seduced by the dark side of the Force, forever scarred by his defeat on Mustafar. Vader was transformed into a cybernetically enhanced Sith Lord. At the dawn of the Empire, Vader led the Empire's eradication of the Jedi Order and the search for the survivors. He remained in service of the Emperor, the evil Darth Sidious, for decades, enforcing his master's will and seeking to crush the Rebel Alliance and other detractors. But there was still good in him. Very cool, very cool. And then we just got Star Wars on that side. So let's take this little bit of tape off the back here. Making sure that we don't damage any of the box. All right. So let's see, how does this thing actually open? Some of these actually, let's see if this one, yeah. So you can open them up a little bit, and you can see in there and kind of see him inside of the clamshell. I don't really know why they do that. I don't know if people display them like that. I don't think I would ever display them like that, but maybe people do. All right. Let's pop the top and slide out the inner box here. Woo! Big boy. So pretty cool right out of the box here. Give you a little view. Make sure we don't lose anything here. So that's just him in the clamshell. You can kind of see some of the bigger set pieces that's going to be kind of pivotal to this piece, and probably why it was so expensive. So we'll talk about that also. Well, they got a little tray here on the top. We got some hands. Then we got the main bottom shell here, so our top shell, I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and get into this. Whoa. Very cool, very cool. There we go. So you can kind of see him. Man, he looks good. Already really, really loving the figure. We got a little bit of a snafu there with the adjustment thing hanging out. Very cool. All right, so let's start to take each. We'll start to take each individual piece out, and we'll look at it. You know, just straight on here, and then we'll give it a top-down view as well. So let's go ahead and get in here. So we'll take just some things out. We are going to have to take him himself out. So I'm trying to debate whether I want to do that first right now, and then we take all the accessories out. Maybe that makes the most sense. So let's go ahead and take Vader out. So, man, he looks great. All the buttons and everything look really good. I am surprised that of all the light up features there seems to be on this figure, I don't think his chest piece and his belt boxes and things, I don't think those light up, which they do light up on the Empire Strikes Back Vader, which is above me up there over my right shoulder on the left side of your screen. So it's interesting that they decided not to do that, but they did do a lot of other light up features. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do, and they just don't look like they do. But right off the bat, those just look painted, like especially the belt ones. I don't think there's any way that those are light up. But let's go ahead and take him out. Oh, so the helmet comes off pretty easily. But you can kind of see some of the detail for Vader's mask and his actual armor. Very cool. Take this plastic arms. We'll go ahead and put his helmet on as well. Nice and shiny. Don't see any scuffs or anything on there. I kind of wish that was magnetic. It's actually really concerning that that's not magnetic, actually. Because does it it's almost like they want that piece on the top there to fit in. Oh, okay, yeah, you can kind of pop it on. I don't like that. I don't like that design choice. There's a little thing on top of his head, and then there's an indentation inside the helmet. We'll show it here in a minute when we do the close-ups. But that the fact that that's not magnetic is kind of, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But right off the bat, he looks good. He has real leather here on the arms, and it does not look like the gloves are real leather. They're more like a molded plastic. But he does appear to have real leather for his under suit, kind of under his cape and stuff here. We do see some nice boot mechanics here, so he's not just fixed at the feet like some of the recent figures. They haven't had a lot of movement there, but he seems to have a lot of movement actually, and I'll show the different. He actually can move back and forth, front and back. Seems to have a good bit of movement, which is good. Not that, I mean, you're not going to get crazy, I don't think, posing a Vader, but you know, in case you wanted to. Here he is underneath the camera. I'm going to try to give him a little bit of a pass through here so you guys can see all the different aspects here of the figure. So he does look good. We're going to talk about his helmet here for just a second. So if I can, you see how that's, I mean, we're just going to take it off. So I guess that's how it pops off. So I guess it just kind of like pops off of this little rail, but it bugs me that it feels really loose. Like, you hear that? I'm not a big fan of that, but and then the top piece of his helmet here, you can kind of see there's an indentation in there. And then the top part of his head has this little bit of indentation. So these are supposed to fit, you know, this can come off, but instead of this just being a magnet, they have decided to make it where it's like an insert. And so you have, like, you see how that's just like all over the place? And then to actually like get it situated is actually kind of tough. There, you feel it, and then you can kind of push it in. But I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like having to put pressure and things like that on a piece like that, and you have to put your fingers all over the mask. Like, why not, or the hood? Why not just make that where it pops on? So one little, you know, facet that I'm probably not super happy about right off the bat is just why not make that magnetic? I do not know, do not understand that. So let's stand him up here. He does look really good as far as his suit and everything, and I think we still got to get the cape out of here. So I mean, I'm happy with the look so far, but as far as a mechanic, you know, that was a little bit concerning. All right, so let's set him. We'll set him right there. I mean, I guess he looks pretty good just standing here in the front. You might have to move him a little bit to the side just so we can get everything else out and people can see it. Okay. I mean, okay, we'll go through the hands first. So it's going to be your typical hands, though, I believe. It is nice, though, that they did like a gloved hand for him instead of just having like a hand that pops off and isn't like kind of seamless like this, and it would have like a crease in it. So I do appreciate that they did like a gloved hand for him. Okay, so let's take a look what we got here. Okay, they do have one cool hand choice in here, which I do like. We got the point. So we got the point. Pretty typical. Outreached force hand. Again, we'll go underneath the camera for these as well here in a minute. We've got another somewhat outreached Force hand. Another one that's more of a strong look. We've got a fist, closed fist. And again, these aren't real leather or anything around this. This is just a molded plastic, which is fine for the hands. We've got a saber hand, so a saber that, or a hand you can hold a saber with. Opposite saber hand, so a few of those there it looks like. Again, we got another one. I guess that's because he can't really rotate, because you can't rotate his wrist or anything like that because it's kind of fixed. I guess that's why they give you a couple different angles that he can hold the lightsaber. Oops. And then the opposite hand, kind of like that. And then the very last one that they give you is his cutoff mechanical hand. So it's just a little nubbin. So there's all the hands. Then we have two sabers here. Looks like we have an LED version. The likeness looks okay. Not great, but okay. Maybe I need to familiarize myself with Vader's saber in episode 3, but, or I guess 6, but Return of the Jedi. But I don't remember these little these little like ports that are all around. We'll look at it in the under close. But there's the LED hilt. Here's the regular hilt, no LED. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I do not remember these little like bolted ports being kind of all around the top part of the handle. I don't remember that at all. And I think that this, as far as the control box, it's just all black, but I want to say the buttons were like green and red or maybe something like that. So I don't know, maybe I need to look up his saber. Maybe I'm misremembering, but that's interesting. They have the battery pack here. So this one says helmet on it. So you can clip that and run the LED to his back of his belt. They have a little clip that goes with it. So that's how you power the LED. We have movable, we have the little tool to move his eyes. Oops. So it comes pretty standard with anything that has eyes. And you're probably going, but Vader has a helmet on. Well, we'll go ahead and we have the motion saber. Motion saber, which maybe this is dirty. This is dirty. Okay. I thought it was scratched, but I think it just has a little bit of a spot on it, which is strange. But you have the motion saber. And then you've just got the still, which doesn't look red enough, but we'll see. And then, kind of the coolest piece about this this figure, we have the unmasked Vader head. Wow, it looks really good too. And again, we'll do a close-up underneath. Wow, that looks really good. That's a cool head sculpt. I wish they would have. I mean, they protected it okay with the plastic here, but you kind of wish they would have put it in a little one of those little tubes that they have. They didn't do that. And then the other head that you have, wow, this is pretty cool too. Seems so large. Well, I guess just because it has the hood on it. So you have the helmet, but the electricity in the skull, you can actually see, and you'll be able to see it in the close up. You can see the skull actually inside. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that you could actually see the skull in there. That is pretty cool. So you have the electrified Darth Vader helmet. Very cool. Electricity running all around it. These little things make me a little bit nervous that they're going to break, but I think they'll be all right. But very cool. We will look at this underneath here in just a moment. So that's the top clamshell there. Oops, let's go ahead. I think there's only going to be one or two things here in this bottom one, so let's go ahead and pull those out and then we'll do close-ups. And we'll look at the instruction manual. Wow, huge base. So I didn't think it was going to be this big, but this is actually a very large base. So have the base here in the bottom. Kind of a tough clamshell to get off here. It's not too heavy though, so that's good. Wow, it looks good. Look at that staircase. Very cool. You have like a set of stairs. Wow, I'm interested to see how this all goes together. And then we got all the different little pieces here. So we'll have to see how this goes together. But we have some like scaffolding, it looks like here. So we'll look at how all this goes together in just a moment. And then you have kind of these two platforms, which if I understand correctly, you're going to be able to put the other, whichever two head sculpts you're not using, you'll be able to put on these and display them with the figure. So really cool idea there. And then you have this platform that lights up actually with LED here in the back. Wow, really cool. And that's supposed to like sit up somewhere up here. So let's go ahead and before we actually put the base together, let's look at everything in the close-up. We do have a crotch grabber stand, which is good for Vader. I don't want the one that kind of clamps around him. So good on Sideshow there. Good job actually providing the proper stand. So yes, and then we do have the cape attached back here on the back. So let's go ahead. And pull this out. I was looking at the clasp, the chain. I thought it was just going to be a piece of like leather or something at first. And I was going to be like, that's kind of wrong. They could have actually made it metal or like a chain link, but it's just plastic. So we'll talk about that. We're going to start to look at everything as a close-up view. So we'll take each piece, and maybe not all of the hands, but we'll take all of the important pieces, show them up close underneath the up close camera here, so that you can get an idea of what this stuff actually looks like, kind of really up close and personal. So let's go ahead and switch to that camera. Okay, so here's the glove. You can see there's just a molded hard plastic glove. See the inside there where the peg goes. But nothing too special. The only concern that I have with these is because it's molded hard plastic like that, you're not going to be able to move the wrist around. So you see how the wrist is fixed? So when you put this glove on there and it pegs in, you're not going to be able to move it, move his wrist around or anything like that. It's going to be fixed kind of in this, hard plastic position. So they give you a lot of different hands to try to supplement that. So you can kind of see, they give you, they try to give you a bunch of different hands. Probably the coolest of the hands is the nub hand. However, here's the hand that's been cut off. I will say that this paint detail here on the top, see if I can get it to focus in, I think it could be a little better. I don't think it's bad, but I think it could be better. Right? I don't know. That's my opinion on that kind of. It's not bad though. I mean, you can see the wire running through it. So, I mean, it's not bad. It could be better. Okay. So that's the hands. Not going to focus on those too long. Just going to kind of show it. They do have this kind of strange one where he's like, I guess they did this because, you know, you can't move the wrist a lot, but they have this one where his wrist is kind of like cocked like that. So I guess it's if you wanted to have him holding the saber in a certain way. So quite a few hands there. We do have the LED saber. The little piece here actually does flip back and forth. A little hook. If I can get it to do it. It does actually move there. This is where I don't know. I don't remember Vader's saber having these little ports that you kind of seeing all over the top there. Maybe it did, but I don't remember that typically. And I think that these buttons here, I think had color to them. So it's kind of strange that they're just black. But that's the LED saber. Here's the regular one, no LED. I mean, it's the same thing, just doesn't have the LED running off of it. No additional detail or anything, though. Okay. That's the saber, that's the hands. We do have the different blades, so we could plug a blade into each one of these, I suppose. Show it that way. So we do have the swinging blade, where it's actually swinging. And then obviously you have the stationary blade as well. Whichever one you want to go with. Okay. That's the hands, the sabers out of the way. Let's talk about these head sculpts. I think these look pretty cool. Let's go ahead and put Mr. Unmasked head sculpt underneath the camera here, and we'll take the plastic off. Really nice detail there on the top of the head where he's been hit. And his head's been gashed open. The ball joint there on the bottom. So I don't know if that bottom mask piece comes off, maybe? We have to see how the the head sculpts work here. Really cool though. Really cool. Okay. And then let's show off the electrified helmet. Really cool. I don't know if you guys can see it through there, but you can actually see his skull inside of there. Isn't that cool? If I can get it. Very cool. These things are just kind of like, you know, they're not really like glued on or anything. They're just in a way that I think maybe that can be taken off. We'll see when we get into the instructions. And then this piece lights up as well, so you can see the LED running out the back here. Really cool though. Okay. So let's, and then we can show the bases as well. So let's go ahead and show those. So you do have this stared piece to the base. Peg there. So that's just the stairs. And then we have the light up piece of the base, which will show the light up portion here in just a bit when we actually plug it in. But I think this top piece actually here lights up. And then I think even the red around the bottom here lights up as well. Cool base though. I wish they would do more bases kind of like this instead of just the regular sand ones. I don't think this is that difficult for them to pull off, just adding a base. So very cool. We'll see what it looks like when we get it all lit up as well. See if that feature is kind of worth it. And then we have, last but not least, the cape here. So pretty standard as far as capes go. The material is nice. No wires, which is a little bit disappointing. It would be nice to have it flow if you wanted it to. I know in these scenes it typically doesn't. One thing that is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine here is you can see that this is it's kind of like a plastic, like a soft plastic that is supposed to be as a neck clasp here. Why not just make that an actual neck clasp? I don't know why they kind of cheaped out there and didn't do that, but it kind of looks cheap. And then there's some fraying there, which isn't, you don't really want that to happen either. So I don't know. The cape is okay, not great, but it's okay. They did put some leather, like real leather, around the collar here, which I appreciate. Like, if you're going to do that, why would you not just put the actual chain, make that actual chain? Not sure why they did that, but some things on this figure are a little bit weird like that. Okay, so let's push back out. Looks like the camera's still working. And let's see if we can put together this base. So pull the instructions out here and see what we got. We do have the Return of the Jedi kind of poster front there. And then we've got a lot of instructions here. So, start at the top. Look at this. All right. Interchangeable heads. The outer helmet of the helmeted heads is detachable. Interchange the helmeted head and head sculpt as shown. The eyeballs do roll for the unmasked version of the helmet. There's, you can go ahead and put the cape on him. So let's go ahead and do that. So that pops off, and it says even this pops off as well. Yep. Then we can put the cape on if we want. I think I do want to display him with the unmasked helmet. So for right now, I'm going to put that one on. Oh, we bent him over. His knee joints, which can be a good thing. We'll see when we get to the kind of articulation side of it when we start to break it down. They do seem like his joints move rather freely, maybe almost too freely. I always have a hard time doing these head sculpts. Different things here. I don't necessarily want that piece of his cape underneath there. I want it side like that. I'm not a big fan of the way they did this head sculpt, I must say, or the way they did the. Like, is that supposed to go? I guess that's supposed to go underneath. I mean, I don't know. I don't like the way his cape really like. Where is the flathead? We've got the cape on. I don't know if it's the head sculpt that's throwing me off with the cape, but it just doesn't seem to fit right on him. You know what I mean? It seems like it's, I don't know. I don't know. We'll let it marinate there for a minute. So we can put the cape on. LED lighted chest panel and system function belt. Jesus. Let's see. Attach the multi-tap to the belt. Connect the power cord of the chest panel. Oh, so he does have. Wow, so his chest and everything does light up. Okay. Gonna have 3 wires running in there. So the issue I'm running into, okay, let's take these back off. This clip, I don't know why they just don't, I mean, you have to have this on this Vader. Just why do I have to put this clip on here? Not to mention the clip is a piece of trash. Oh. Come on. There. Jeez. Okay. It's a good thing he's got that big cape back there because it's a lot of wires. All right. And then you can run the LED lightsaber if you want from this one as well. Whoops. He has a little clip here on the side. You can kind of see it where you can hang his lightsaber if you want. You can hang his lightsaber off his side there like so. Pretty cool. That's easier than some of the other ones. Some of the other ones have like this stupid peg system where you gotta like have the peg and the lightsaber and then the peg fly. That's way, I like that way better. So that's one thing that they did that's easy, is like just make it a hook and a thing. Okay, now we start to get into the base and the other lighted helmet. You can attach the stand here. Holy cow, that's the easiest one of those has ever gone together. You can run the power to that. I don't know why they made it where this helmet comes apart. This doesn't seem to be, like, why? Do you need this bottom piece? And it's like, it doesn't fit together exactly right. I don't know what they were doing with that. This helmet I hate. Like I actually am starting to hate this design that they did for this. Like I don't know why they messed this up so bad, but this is actually kind of annoying that it is the way that it is. We'll talk about that in a minute. Don't love that. Don't love the way that they did some of the things on that helmet. And I don't understand why they did it that way. There was no reason to do it that way. I don't understand that. I don't understand what they were doing. Okay. I think I'm actually going to use this head sculpt just because I want to show the light up feature of it. So let's switch heads. That down through the cape. I tell you, once you get this guy set up, you're never going to want to change him. He's kind of a pain to get everything situated here. This piece does come off, by the way, so you can take this electrified piece off. Ah! Yeah, his knee joints are really loose. Like, really loose. Okay. Now, back on the stand here. Oh. See what I mean? His knee joints are very, very loose. They're not jointed. They're just a straight knee joint. So, I mean, if you're really looking for posability, that's great, but he's not gonna, I'm worried he's gonna fall over. Whew! That was an ordeal. To not have much about him. He was very, very intricate setup. Cool. Okay. So his chest box actually does light up, and his belt box does too. It just didn't look like it did. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. by that. Now I need to look up how you actually get his damn head to turn on. He didn't come on there. Okay, now let's turn him on. Oh yeah. That is so cool. And then you have an electrified version. Okay, very cool, very cool. Okay. So we're gonna turn the lights off probably to show this. So here we have him all lit up. So this is how you can kind of expect it, to be displayed. And like I said, you could put the, electrified piece back on here. I'm not going to put it all the way on, but you could put this piece back on so that it looks like he's fully being electrified there. So pretty cool. If you had a Sheev, or Palpatine, where he's really the Emperor, so that you could really get the effect of another figure, and have him with the lightning being cast, I think that would be really cool. But so you have the two different modes here for his head. You can have him flashing like that, or you can just have a solid. Pretty cool. His belt does actually light up, so you can see the different belt boxes here. They do, the green buttons light up, and there's a red button there that lights up, and that's on both sides of his belt. And then even his chest box here, you can see it actually flickers between the different lights on his chest there. So they really did do a good job of the lighting effects. And then you have the light up saber, of course. So I think the light up effects do look really good. I think the way that they included it all in kind of one battery pack, really touchy though. There we go. The way they included it all in kind of one battery pack and everything runs from the one battery pack, I think that's pretty smart. So I think they did a good job with the lighting effects. So let's go ahead. We'll show this one last time. So let's show the lighting effect, and we may show it at the end. And let's show the strobe feature one more time. So very cool. Very cool feature for this figure. So let's talk about the figure as a whole, the likes, dislikes of the figure, what we think about it, and all of that. So I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to unplug the light up feature because we don't need that for right now. But we are going to talk about the figure. So let's just start with the quality because I think that is where I kind of want to start with everything. So quality wise, I think they did an okay job. Okay to good. I think that, there's certain things about the figure that I don't love. That being, why did they not just do a chain here around the clasp for his neck? Why did they do this like soft plastic deal? There were some other things that we were running through as far as the cape not having any wire in it. So that's one thing, kind of two things there as far as just on the cape, that kind of clasp there and not having any wire in the cape. And then the cape is really, I mean, as far as like the material, I think they've used nicer material on some capes in the past. I want to say even the cape up here for the Empire Strikes Back Vader is a little bit nicer. Like the sheen on the inside of the cape here is a little bit nicer. I want to say the stitching is a little bit nicer on that cape. Um, I don't think that one doesn't have wiring either, but they could have added the wiring to it, I think, and that would have been a nice little add. The cape doesn't really fit great on his shoulders too, so that's one kind of thing there that's not great. But the rest of his suit, as far as like his undersuit, so all of his undergarmented suit pieces are real leather. His little piece down here that goes in front of his crotch is real leather. All of his leg pieces, as far as his undersuit, real leather there. The boots are actually made of real leather. So and even like the chest piece and the armor piece, I think they look really good. I don't think that they look you know, like plastic or whatever. They look shiny. They look like metal pieces. The painting and stuff on them is good. So I think as far as the overall quality of it is good, not great, but good. There are some other things too with some of these head sculpts that I don't quite understand why they did it this way. And I actually don't understand if it's supposed to be this way. So let's talk about that. So I do really like the light up head sculpt. I think that that head sculpt is really cool. I don't have a lot of issues with this one. You can put the little piece on it where you have this extra electrified piece on there. I think it kind of looks better without it, honestly, unless you have Sheev to actually look like he's being electrocuted. But I have no problems with that head sculpt. I think it's really cool how they included the skull in there. And when it lights up, it's actually the skull piece that lights up in there. So I think that that's really cool. They probably could have added some light up effect maybe to the outside of the helmet as well to give it a little bit more flash to it, because it does, it's just the skull that kind of lights up underneath there. So you have that. I think the head sculpt that they've done here with the unmasked head sculpt, I actually think this is a really good head sculpt too. So I think they did a great job on this one as well. I'm trying to get it off the stand here without knocking Vader over. So I think they did a really good job on this head sculpt as well. I think the paint is really good on it. You know, I just thought about it. They give you a way to move. They give you this piece, which I'm pretty sure is to move the eyes, but there's no way to get at his eyes unless you can pop him off of this. Hold, please. Okay. You can actually pop the top piece of his head. You can pop this piece out, and you can maneuver his eye pieces around. So, okay, you can maneuver the eyes. So I think this is a great head sculpt. I think if you had the Anakin, if you had the Luke to go with this, the Return of the Jedi Luke, and you could actually do a pose where maybe he's laying down and Luke is bending over and holding him in that last scene where they're actually getting to talk and he's unmasked. I think that would be pretty cool to be able to do that. So you know, that's a really cool head sculpt piece that they added in. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that there. Now to the head sculpt that I have issue with, and this is probably one of my bigger issues with this figure, is this head sculpt. It's probably going to fall. No, it didn't actually fall apart. So there's a few issues I have with this head sculpt. One is this piece is not magnetic. Why they didn't make this magnetic and make this where it just attaches back to the top of his head, I'm not quite sure. You can just put it on there and it magnetic to it. Now you have to do, like, look, you put it on there and it does all this like moving around. Nobody wants that. Why did they not just make that magnetic? I do not know, do not understand that one bit why they did it like that. I really don't. And then the piece that I really don't understand is this piece comes apart for whatever reason. I don't even understand why this comes apart like this. Like, why does it come apart like this? Is it supposed to come? I'm assuming it's supposed to come apart like this because you have detail on the inside here. It's no different than, I don't know why they did that. And then when you go to put this back together, you really have to like kind of like work with it to get it to where there's no gap. And I mean, can you hear that? I mean, that just doesn't even sound like good. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's just, I do not know why they did this with this head sculpt, why they decided to do that. And so, like, if you don't get it fitting together just right, there will be a gap in there. And it just doesn't, I mean, it's just not, I don't know why they did this. And then, you know, then to put this piece on, you kind of even further have to like push it down and like figure out how to get this fucking thing on. Like, this is so stupid. Like, I don't know why they did this with this head sculpt. This is so dumb. Like, I can't even get it back together. Oh, now that I'm trying to put his head back on, this piece has popped off. What in the hell? Why? Why did y'all do this? This is... I do not understand. Like, I literally, I can't get it back together. Guys, this should not be a thing. If you ever decided there, if you ever decide to do a helmet like this again, I will return this figure. Like, what? Why? Why did we do it this way? And then let's get this piece fitted together just right. Like, oh my God. So that helmet design is one of the stupidest helmet designs I've ever seen Sideshow do. Why they did this like this, I have no idea. Um, why not just do a helmeted Vader? You have that helmet, you have this interchangeable one. Why do you have this one break all to pieces and come all apart and feel like a piece of crap? Why? I'm not happy about that head sculpt. Other two, great. I think they did a great job with the other two. This one, and it's the simplest one. It's the helmet. Like, just make it. Okay, we're gonna step off of that for now. Okay. So now that we've looked at that, so as far as like the rest of the figure, the quality and everything on that, the rest of the figure, I think that's really good. I think they did a great job. Figure looks great. It looks like Vader should look. He looks screen accurate. You know, all of that is really good. When we start to look at the mobility of him, I do think he is very, very posable because he has, you know, you can bend these knees easily 90 degrees. He has a lot of movement because of the way that they actually did the boot is real leather. He has a lot of movement in his feet. You can actually move them side to side. You can move them up and down. Um, his legs can basically go 90 degrees. I mean, completely. They even have the side kind of knee joint where you can kind of twist them side to side. So he has a lot of maneuverability. Let's see, his arms still pretty good considering he has this kind of thick, this thick undercoat going on. So I mean, for a Vader figure, he doesn't have a lot of movement back that way, not quite all the way back. But I mean, that is pretty darn good for a Vader. You usually don't see a lot of movement with the Vader figures. So I will say, you know, pretty good. The one thing that's a little bit disappointing is this wrist joint here is fixed, so you can't move that around and kind of position his saber and things the way that you want. So they've added a bunch of hands to give you the ability to kind of do something different, but you know that's kind of what it is. But you can see, so now that I kind of messed with him a little bit, his cape is messed up now and it doesn't quite fit right on him. So I don't know, not super happy about some things like the cape in particular and that head sculpt, but I think everything else is great. The light up features are spot on. So as far as when you actually light him up, all the little light up features that he has look really, really good. His belt looks good. His chest piece looks good lit up. So really, really good. Let's try the light up base here. So we didn't actually try that earlier. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, so that looks cool. You can get an idea of Let's take him off of here. What that's going to look like. I mean, it just lights up the base piece there, right? So you can kind of on, off, and it does light up the little bottom piece there. So, you know, just adds a little red light flare to him. So he will have a lot of shelf presence. I will say that when you light them all up, and you would only have to have two kind of lines run to him to light them up, so that wouldn't be too bad. So really good. So, you know, I think, you know, looks really good. Had an issue with the cape, have issue with the helmeted head sculpt. I think the other two head sculpts are really great. I think he has great maneuverability actually for a Vader. So as far as him being posable, I think he will be very, very posable. Um, it does worry me a little bit that his knees aren't jointed. So instead of them like locking into each little position as they move, they're just free flowing knee joints. So a little bit concerning there that he might like fall over or something because he is a heavy figure. So, you know, little concern there. But overall, I think he's really looks really great. And all the little features that they added were good. Now, let's talk about price. This figure was $345, I believe. So with shipping, for me to have him shipped, he was $398. So I know that that was the total. He was $398. That's pretty pricey. Almost $400, and you get the two head sculpts. You get this extra piece to this base. You get the light up base, which this is okay. The fact that this doesn't connect though is kind of like, unless you have the Emperor and his throne, I don't really understand how this is going to look great. I think he looks better on the base where you can display the heads. Um, so yeah, as far as value goes, I think he's a little overpriced. If I'm being honest, the light up features are cool, and that does add a lot to this figure. But I think that they could have added some other accessories that would have been, you know, pretty cool. Just add in some other little things. Maybe, you know, I always get mad at them for adding a hologram because every Star Wars figure comes with a hologram, but every Star Wars figure comes with a hologram. So just go ahead and add that in. Um, you know, just add a couple things here and there so that, you know, you really feel like you're getting your worth in this figure. Because I feel like when I'm looking at it right now, I feel like, okay, I got the two head sculpts and I got some hands and I got the bases, but I didn't get a lot of extra. But I think they do give you a lot. You know, I think as far as maybe not a lot, but they do give you quality items. So the two head sculpts are good, and they do add this in because this would be a good piece. They could have added something maybe to go along with Luke, you know, so that if you wanted to pair him with Luke, you could also have that. I don't know exactly what they would have added, but it would have been cool to add that as well. So, you know, as far as value goes, I think he's probably a little bit overpriced. I feel like all of their figures are a little bit overpriced now, and I think they're even adding more price into them. So it is what it is there, but you know, that's kind of how I feel about the pricing. So if you take all of that and you wrap all that together, and we get to a score, right? So what's our final verdict on this figure and the score? I went back and forth last time on if I really did like rating figures with a value, with like a number. I think I'm going to go a different route. So I think I'm going to go like basically horrible, bad, um, good, great, and like spectacular, right? So you can go up. So you know, bad. It was like what? Horrendous, bad, good, great, spectacular. Good, great, spectacular. If you're getting down into those other, I don't know that we would ever have another, like we would actually go into the bad or the horrible and the bad. But yeah, I'll do both. I don't know which one I'm going to keep in the review. So if I'm looking at this figure, I'm looking at, you know, all the things. So likeness, the quality of the figure, the price, all of those things kind of jumbled into one. The different accessories that you get, whether they make sense, whether they're worth it. When I get to a kind of conclusion, I think that this is a good figure. I don't think that this is a great figure, and I don't think it's a spectacular figure. I do think it's a good figure. There's some things with it that I just, for a deluxe figure that's almost $400, I would have expected the quality to just be a little bit better. So things like the cape, the clasp on the cape, that head sculpt in particular, the helmeted one, uh, they could have done way better on that. So I think there's just some aspects like that. I didn't think they did a great job with the lightsabers either. Like I thought they looked okay, but they don't look great. The weathering on them doesn't look great. Um, they don't have a lot of presence to it as far as it just looking like it doesn't look shiny in the areas it should look shiny. I feel like the buttons, I'll have to look, but I feel like the buttons on his saber were an actual color instead of them just being black. So things like that kind of bring it down to that good level for me and not great, which is a little bit disappointing. If I was going to give it a figure, a number rating, I think I would give this figure like an 8.4. I think I give it an 8.4, 8.5. So I'll go 8.4. Um, it just had some misses for me and didn't have enough to justify the cost, if that makes sense. So it's above average, above average figure. It's in the eights. I think it's a really good figure. But I can't really justify putting it any higher than that because of some of the issues with it. So 8.4, good figure. Really enjoyed unboxing it. I thought you would definitely go back and look at my smile when I see some of the things. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. So we'll go ahead. We'll wrap up. That's the end of the unboxing and the overall impressions on the figure. So we'll go ahead. We'll wrap up. All right, YouTube, that's the end of the unboxing. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this unboxing of the Darth Vader Return of the Jedi Deluxe Edition. Really enjoyed unboxing it. Like I said, it's a good figure. I think you really can't go wrong with it. If you want that Return of the Jedi Vader in your collection, can't go wrong. So we hope to see you here again next time on YouTube. Check us out, like and subscribe. We also do live stream these again on Twitch. So twitch.tv/skidmarks. Come check us out. But I really appreciate you guys coming to hang out, and we'll see you next time. Peace.